Welcome back to the Heathrow Virtual ATC X Learn to Fly training program. In this next video we are going to go over climbs and descents and the procedure in which best to make a climb or start a descent. First off, we're going to set a heading of 270 degrees, which is west. Okay. Currently now at a heading of 270 degrees at 3,000 feet, travelling 100 knots. So we're going to make a climb now here to 4,000 feet, and then we will level off and maintain an airspeed of 100 knots. Now to achieve this, we need to first off turn off the autopilots, which is located here. There we go. Okay, next what we need to do is simply, to climb, increase full power and pitch up to 10 degrees and maintain, if possible, a virtual airspeed of about 500 feet per minute. So this indicator will show you your virtual speed, also known as the VSI. This is 500 feet per minute. What we are going to aim for to reach 4,000 feet. So let's go ahead and do this now. So I'm going to increase full power to the aircraft and pitch up a little bit to get to 500 feet per minute. Now you need to use your trim to help you achieve this goal, as the trim will help stabilize the aircraft and you'll be able to keep it very close to the 500 feet per minute range. So there we go. As you can see, I'm climbing at 500 feet per minute, maintaining 100 knots on a heading of 270 degrees. It is always important to use the trim, and your trainer will bug you a hell of a lot about using your trim all of the time instead of pulling back or pushing forwards on your joystick. What we're going to need to do is make sure we level out at 4,000 feet. Now we don't want to start to level out at 4,000 feet because then we are not going to be level at 4,000 feet. So we're going to start to level out at 3,900 feet. This gives us 100 feet just to make the aircraft level, change some settings, configure the aircraft for back to straight and level flight. At the moment we are currently at 3,600 feet, so very shortly we will start to make corrections to the aircraft to go back to straight and level flight and level the aircraft out at 4,000 feet. Okay, here's 3,900 feet. So use a couple of trim down and get the VSI close to the 0 mark, which indicates to us that we are no longer climbing or descending. You will also need to decrease power back to about 23 RPM to maintain altitude and speed of 100 knots. So as you can see, I'm level out now at 4,000 feet, sorry, and my airspeed is roughly 100 knots. So as you can see, it's very simple to level out from a climb. It's all about your trim and keeping an eye on your instruments, and especially when you're in really bad weather, your instruments are your lifeline because you will not be able to see the horizon in front of you. So next we are going to go over how to make a descent. Descent is very easy, just like the climb. But there's one small difference. Instead of increasing power, we will decrease power roughly to 20 to 21 RPM to make a descent of about 500 feet per minute. So we're going to go do this to 3,000 feet now, just for the demonstration. So I'm going to reduce power back to 21 RPM. Do a couple of clicks of trim down to start the descent, and then a couple of trim up just to make sure we don't go too below the 500 feet per minute. You'll need to make tweaks to your RPM and of course your trim as always. So as you can see now, we're making a descent to 3,000 feet using a 500 feet per minute descent rate and RPM speed of about 21 RPM, maintaining 100 knots. As you can see, it's very simple to do. Over time and with lots of practice, you'll be able to do this in your sleep. Just like before when we were levelling out from the climb, when levelling out from the descent we still use the same factor. We level out 100 feet before our assigned altitude, just to give us that extra bit of space when coming out for the levelling out. As you can see, my low fuel gauge has just come on, but not to worry, we still have plenty of fuel for a good hour. So we are currently now at 3,300 feet, so another 200 feet and we'll start to level the aircraft out. When you level the aircraft out from a descent, you must remember to increase power, otherwise you could cause a stall in the aircraft, which is never a good thing. So, first thing you do is increase power, configure the trim for the aircraft. Once you've leveled out, reduce power a little bit to maintain 100 knots and so on. So here we go. I'm going to start leveling out the aircraft now. So a couple of trim up and increase your power. Okay, when you get to the 0, do a couple of trim down, and that because we don't really want to go over, and that we don't want it to plummet back down again. And that's so increase. Always keep increasing a bit of power, configuring your trim to get the desired effect that you want. So your VSI or virtual speed indicator is level with 0 roughly. It doesn't have to be exact as long as you're not bouncing all over the place. So there we go. As you can see, you need to increase your power to 23, 24 RPM just to maintain 100 knots. Couple of trim up and down just to keep the aircraft VSI level. When the aircraft speeds increase, it's going to want to climb. Now in this case you don't want it to climb, you want it to stay straight and level, so the trim is very important. So as you can see, we are now straight and level. We have an airspeed of 100 knots at about 3,000 feet. So thank you for watching this very short tutorial on climbs and descents. Next up we are going to go over landings and taking off, and then go back to your trainer and set up a lesson to do what we have discussed here. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope your lessons are going well.